And I gave a message every Thursday, but was very inexperienced. Like I'd go to the bus and I'd find a card that says, God says that I am, and I'll read off those things as my show. Or I would find something else where it talked about whatever, or I'd come up with a scripture and I'll talk about that scripture for about an hour. And it was very, very, very inexperienced. I didn't know what I was doing. And that's when I got my first 15 listens. My first 15 downloads. I was so excited. And then all of a sudden, I missed a Thursday. I'll do it tomorrow. And then I missed another Thursday. I'll do it tomorrow. Then I missed another Thursday. I'll do it tomorrow. For about 2 years, I kept missing Thursdays and not doing them at all. Every time I said I'll do it tomorrow, I'll not do it tomorrow. I'd miss a Thursday. So for 2 years, I had a half a year, not even, of me doing a show that was so inexperienced. And then 2 years went by, absolutely did nothing. Zero. Nada. I had no shows under my belt. And I just didn't care to do one. Then one day, God spoke to me. I was at a place where we rented from a lady named Cynthia. Don't get me wrong, not the greatest lady of all time, but if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be where we're at today either, because she had to at least give us a place to stay so we can get on our feet and I can do what I need to do. So I'm over at Cynthia's house, and I told this to my wife. I said, hon, this is just before we started getting the condo, actually. And that's another thing. Because at first, when we first needed a place to stay, we were about to be homeless, I gave God 35 cents. Now, I'm not saying this to tell you about what the right hand, what the left hand is doing, but I am going to do it this way. So God and I argued about my 35 cents during chapel. And I just got off the bus from don't remember where I was going. I was going somewhere on a bus. And I was going from Royal Oak to Roseville because I was going to see my wife at the time, who wasn't actually my wife at that moment. And was she my wife? Yeah, she was my wife. Yes, she was. But I was going to see somebody. I can't remember who I was going to see, but I remember I was going to Royal Oak for something. So I got on the bus that said 710 to Roseville, I think it was. And so I got on the bus, and I sat down. I was talking to some people. I was doing some magic tricks like I always do on the bus. And the next thing you know it, I'm seeing a bunch of grassy, snowy area, and there's nowhere in sight. There's not a house in sight. And I go to the bus driver and said, excuse me, but where are we headed to? She goes, oh, we're headed to blah, blah, blah. I said, Telegraph. She goes, yeah, we're going to Telegraph. I go, I needed to go to Roseville. I got the wrong bus. Your sign said 710 to Roseville. She goes, oh, yeah, someone mentioned that to me as she got on, that it said 710 to Roseville, so I changed it. You must have got on before then. She goes, here, I'll tell you what. She goes, you take this bus card, and she goes, that's a free ride anywhere you want to go, in any direction, both ways, for the next 24 hours. So I took the bus card, and she goes, stand on the other side where the bus stop is, and that bus will be there. I waited 2 hours in the cold. I was freezing. I was mad. I was saying some, excuse my French, but some few choice words to God. Me and God I was so mad at God. And then I got finally to Roseville, and as I'm getting closer towards Utica Road, I remembered that my church was over that direction, and I had to go to the bathroom. So I was going to run to that bathroom at church, and I looked at the time. It was almost 6. It was like 10 minutes to 6. I said, I'll go to the bathroom. I'll stay here for the chapel service. I'll listen to a message. I need some Jesus right now. I'm so mad. And then when I'm done, I'll go home. Because I lived on 10 Mile at that time. No, I lived over Yeah, it was, no, we lived in East Point, yes. Off of in East Point. In that furnished house where we were about to be kicked out of there. And so I get into the service after using the bathroom, and they're talking about how a lady gave her last $75, and she didn't know what she was going to do, so she gave it to God. And then someone gave her a brand new car because hers broke down. Someone brought her a brand new house because she needed one. She was homeless, blah, blah, blah. And after all that stuff that people gave to her and she purchased, she had still her last $75 left in that bank account. Was not even touched. Even though she gave the last bit to God. God provided for her and gave her last $75. Now, God will give it to you if you give to Him. He will not give to you if you don't give to Him. Now, that doesn't mean you have to give specifically to me. But if you don't give to your local storehouse, or if you don't give to your church, or if you're one of those people who are just, I don't want to use the word stingy because it's not really a nice word, but if you're just holding back, that's mine. I can't live without this. Then God can't bless you if you don't let it go. If you don't let it go, and I know this sounds like a prosperity message, and I do not like prosperity teachers, because prosperity teachers have that mentality that God will give to you 100-fold and make you rich if you give to Him. I never said God. I'm not saying that God's going to make you rich, but God will provide for you if you give to Him. If you give, God will provide. Whether it's food for the week you need, or food for the month you need, or if you need a new car, God will provide, yes. But giving doesn't have to mean dollar bills, coins, money. Giving could be your time. Giving could be your effort. Giving could be just going out there and saying, do you know who Jesus is? You're giving your time to God. So giving in that aspect, God will provide for you. Giving doesn't always mean just money, money, money. And you do not have to give to me if you do not want to. And it's not one of those things where I'm trying to say, give to me, give to me, give to me. I'm not like those TV preachers out there, and I'm not trying to be. There are some people in this world that I just can't understand why, if they got that much word in them, why they would stoop down to, you gotta give me money and only me, because God's gonna give it to you if you give it to me. It's the prophet of God. No. So it's not the obedience to the prophet of God as some of these people would say. It's just they're flim-flamming you. That's the word, flim-flam. So anyways, I'm in a chapel service, and I'm listening to this lady talk about it, and I reach into my pocket, and I got 35 cents. 35 cents. God says, give it to me. I'm thinking of all the things I can do with 35 cents. You know what I came up with? Nothing. There's not a thing I can do with 35 cents. Back in the 80s, you could buy a hamburger for 35 cents, but now it costs you a whole $1 to buy a hamburger at McDonald's. It did back then. I'm arguing away with God, trying to tell Him I got 35 cents and it's mine. And God goes, what can you do with 35 cents? I said, nothing yet, God, but I'll think of something. I said, well, what can you do with 35 cents? He goes, won't you find out? I said, but I need it, God, it's mine. I need that money. I need that money. He goes, God said to me, what can you do with 35 cents? I said, nothing right now, but I'll think of something. I said, I can go bottom can collecting after this and make some money. I can go get me a cup of coffee at the Coney Island. And God goes, well, right now I got 35 cents. What can you do with 35 cents? I said, nothing until I go bottom can collecting. And then I just realized, I go, what if I can't find anything? And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? And I said, I'm just going to do it. I got so mad. I said, I was trying to tell God, how dare you get me on the wrong bus, get me all mad, and not want to take my money. I got so mad at God for that. And I was like, yeah, and now you want to take my money after I'm all peed off at you now? And I was mad. real mad. But I grit my teeth and I bared it. I said, here. I sucked it up and licked it and stuffed it in the thing. And I said, there. Not even a week later, the lady Cynthia messaged on Facebook. And however we got it, because we didn't know who she was from Adam. We didn't know her from Adam. We weren't even friends on Facebook. We don't know who she was. But happened to message on Facebook, and we ended up seeing it somehow, saying that she has a furnished basement that she needs rented out, and she would love to have a couple or a family or whatnot to rent it out. And so we messaged her. We saw the place. It was gorgeous looking. And then we finally moved in. We packed all our stuff into that little furnished basement, and she didn't even have us sign any paperwork until after we moved all our stuff in. Then we finally signed paperwork, and we were good to go. We had a place to go. So see, we're almost homeless, and I ended up giving 35 cents, and God performed a miracle. Now, that happened several different times. They even happened when, this is why I'm going into about the first show thing. And the second time it happened, we were about to be out of her house and be about to be kicked out and homeless. So I told my pastor that. And pastor goes, well, we'll see what we can do, Andrew. We'll definitely see what we can do for you. Because Pastor Bishop Piscopo is a great guy. We love you, Bishop, and we love your mom and dad, and we love you both. And we just want to let you know that we are thinking about you. And so he was trying to figure out what to do. They gave us a little pamphlet booklet of all these different low-income housings and, shelters and stuff. If we ended up having to have a shelter, they would have shelters in there. But low-income housing and how to get Section 8 and Section 8 housing. And Bishop was right on my tail with me. He was trying to find a place that we can go to. And then finally, God spoke to me one day, and we were in Cynthia's house. I said, hon, I said, give me 35 cents. Was it 35 cents? Yeah. No, 53 cents, actually. My fault. So I said, hon, give me 53 cents. And she goes, okay. She goes, but what's it for? I said, you want to see another 53-cent miracle? She goes, absolutely. So she gave 53 cents. And in that service, I wasn't mad at God at all. But God instructed to give 53 cents again. So I gave a 53-cent miracle. I put in the offering plate. And I said, now watch this, hon. God's going to perform a miracle. And we were sitting at Cynthia's house when I said that to her. About, because we didn't know if we were going to get this condo or not anyways. That's why I'm saying about it. We didn't know if we were going to get the condo because someone else actually wanted it. The boss's son actually wanted the condo. He's going to move down to Michigan. So I gave him my 53-cent miracle, and I said, Lord, you do what you need to do. You find us a place to stay. And so about a week later, as we were moving out, we got a call. Just before we were moving out, we got a call from Stacy, her sister, my sister-in-law, Stacy. She says, oh, by the way, did you hear what happened? And my wife, Kim, goes, no, what happened? She goes, well, his son ended up getting something or a better job where he's at, or he was going through something happened to where he couldn't actually come to Michigan and move into the condo. So the condo's ours. So we got that condo for less than $500 we got it for less than $600 a month. We got it for like $560, I think it was. No condo fee, because normally when you live in condominiums, there's a condo fee. We had a community pool, a washer and dryer downstairs. I mean, we had everything. We had everything. We were set. We had everything. So, and during that aspect, when I still at that moment, though, did not do a show. I was not doing a show at that moment till finally, as my wife goes, so I bought you all this equipment. You're not doing absolutely anything. When are you going to do a show? I said, I'm waiting on God's timing. I'm waiting on God's timing. So one day I got the notion at the condo. I said, Steve, I'm about to start a podcast. I'm about to start back up again. I said, you want me to come over? I'll come do a podcast with you. He said, yeah, you can come over. We can do a podcast.